There's something in this mystery of being human that keeps inviting this question of why and where from, of how and what for, where the future seems only to be possible because of the past, and we're not always sure in different human cultures. Do you walk forward into the future? Are you always facing backwards? Because we never can see what's ahead of us. There's something about this being human that invokes the questions of origins. Where does this candle come from? Where does this fire come from? Where does this water come from? Where do we come from? And within each origin story, there's an origin story of the origin story. There's a way in which it cascades backwards and backwards through time and space. There's a way in which origins take us into a mystery that has no actual particular point. It's a dynamic process, a relationship, this and that coming together, a conversation, a movement of dragons, of cosmic serpents, of the mythopoetics that's so much bigger than any one of us. These big, big cosmic stories also are part of our everyday life. Why do we have this particular country, this particular political system? What does it mean when someone says, we are this people? To define your identity as a people, as a community, as a person, as a family, as part of a lineage. That is to evoke these questions of origins. I would even say that origin stories are some of the oldest tools that we have to form cultural and individual identity. It's a tool that's used again and again and again, and is used particularly in times of change. Times when there is change being brought upon you, when you didn't choose that change, but you find yourself reaching for an origin story to explain or to show yourself or someone else a pathway forward, or an understanding and interpretation of what's going on. Why is this happening? Whatever this is. And sometimes those are changes that we want to see in the world. We can recreate where we come from and put the pieces of the past together differently to show, oh no, this is why, and this is where we can go from here. My name is Reverend Sarah Gelino Wolcott, and I am teaching a course on origin stories, which is primarily an invitation for you to join me in the process of recreating and recrafting some of your own origin stories, or origin stories of your choosing, at a time when origin stories are a critical tool for navigation, for understanding, for orientation, for culture crafting, and because they're really fun. And because this is just like a really fun thing that humans get to do together. And when I say fun, I can mean it's also powerful. And when I say powerful, I mean there can be dangerous. There are ways of telling origin stories which perpetuate harm and perpetuate disinformation, and often perpetuate many of the problems that many of you who I imagine might be watching this or engaging in these questions are really concerned about and really worried about. And right now, in 2026, we're in a moment when the origins of this country, there's the 250th year of the anniversary of the United States of America, the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which is a really important part of my family's origin story, as well as the origins of climate change, the origins of different political parties and movements, the origins of indigenous settler relations, the origins of indigenous peoples, the origins of relationality. There are so many layers of origin stories that are getting actively challenged and changed. We're interested in this course in both fact and truth, as well as in drawing from and working with the mythopoetics, myth, fantasy, the fantastic. And different people, different students, as they take the course, can do different things with it. So, I want to speak some about a couple different examples of some different origin stories. And I'm also going to talk some about some of the logistics of the course itself.